I've been a very vocal anti-feminist, and I can't help noticing that you're a girl.
And it's how I identify.
Yeah, it's how you identify as a girl. And is my objectifying male gaze, is that disturbing you? I mean, do you feel that you are oppressed in any way as a woman? I mean, I know that being a woman has its difficulties, but
I mean, being a woman has its difficulties. Being a man has its difficulties. Being tall, being short has its difficulties. Right. I mean, you ask the gingers how they're doing, they'll say that they're often very impressed, which is, I mean, I perhaps have contributed to that in some way, but yeah, I don't feel like being a woman is this huge thing where, you know, everyone is out to pay me less than they would a man, or I don't know, sexually assault me surreptitiously in a work context. That's just not the way that I feel. And what's so interesting is that any time where I have felt uncomfortable being a female, where like I'm not safe or I am being objectified, it's been in the context of a liberal progressive person or area.
Really?
Right, because you know, I'm from a small town, I'm from the countryside. I as a woman can walk anywhere that I want and feel safe. You know, all my family, friends and everything, we're all conservative, so no one would ever dream of saying something inappropriate. Everyone's like very like proper and stuff, but it's when I'm in a place like LA where I feel uncomfortable. Actually, one of my friends here, we were supposed to meet, and they're like, oh, where do you want to go? And I was like, oh, yeah, somewhere early, quiet. I don't go to bars. But they're like, oh, we have this person who's playing. You should really come. And I was kind of like, I don't. But anyway, we ended up going, and apparently it's like a known thing. It's this dive bar that's hipsterish, but it's called No Vacancy. And so I show up alone to a parking lot that's dark, and no one else is there. I go up to a weird quiet room, and I open the door to what I think is the entrance of a bar, and there's just a woman in her underwear lying on the bed. Yeah. It's apparently a gimmick that's supposed to look like a brothel.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
But as someone who didn't know that, it just looked like a brothel.
You know, it does seem to me that women suffer more from that kind of culture than from anything else. Yeah.
Yes, here, and that's the thing. And so I freaked out and left, and after my friend was like, oh no, it's just a gimmick, come back. And it's like, even then, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to be at that bar.
Yeah.
So, and that's just not something that in my everyday life, not in LA, that I encounter though. But it's funny, the moments where I am uncomfortable come from the more liberal, progressive side of things.
I think so much of this stuff I've heard, the Me Too stuff.
Yeah, it's all Hollywood. They're all raping each other.
I know, and it's all from people who were told that the old rules didn't count anymore, that the old morals didn't matter, and they could just kind of do whatever they wanted.
I mean, we saw everyone was making fun of Mike Pence when he said that he doesn't go to dinner alone. Yeah. No one's making fun of Mike Pence now. Yes, he's not going to have any Me Too stories.
Yeah. No, it's really strange. What do you make of now all this, the idea that men and women are actually not, they don't exist, they're not the only kinds of sexes there are, or whatever?
I mean, it's weird. There's this dichotomy, whereas men and women aren't real, gender is what you feel, it's anything and everything, but also the patriarchy and male oppression is ingrained in our society. So it's like, how do you reconcile both of those things? Because either it's immutable and doesn't matter, we can identify as whatever we want, it's all just a social construct, or the men as a group have been oppressing us women, right? So like, what if one of the males on a board, I think it's California, recently passed that certain number of shareholders or board members need to be female. What if one of those men now decides to identify as a woman? Then what do you do with all of your diversity quotas then?
Boy, I didn't even think of that. That's a really good point.
Right, well, what do you do? Yeah. It's internally inconsistent.
That's great. Somebody should do that just for the fun of it, just to get the lawsuit going. That's really true.